Good morning or good day, everyone. So we're here for another tutorial in utilizing JFrame for a project. I know that we've had a discussion already relative to the use of JFrame in creating an information system, and we applied that to the book IS that we have created. But if you could notice, what we did is actually just using one JFrame. Basically, it's not giving us um a mechanism that would allow us to experience how we are experiencing right now if we manipulate an app. So this session will be focused on having been able to experience that. And that is our goal, to create an application that would allow us to make use of dialog boxes so that we can have, for example, we can have a different dialog box to be used for adding, right? So basically that's our goal for today. So right now, let me just go ahead and create a project here. So I'll go ahead and click on the folder icon. Again, look for Java application for the old NetBeans, but for new NetBeans, select Java with Ant and select Java application. And here you'll go ahead and name, right? And then here, just make sure it's going to be updated once you're done changing the project name. So I'm gonna go ahead and name this as a product IS because my plan is to go ahead and create a product management system. So I'm going to go ahead and click on finish. So if you could notice, it has been created, right? So if you could notice here, create main class, product IS. So what is expected to happen is that the project will be created, and inside that will be the package. So if I click on finish here, what you will notice is that the product IS has been created, and inside it is the package product IS, and then we have the main, right? Which will go ahead and actually try to run later. Now, so that when we run the program, that this is the class that's going to be executed, because we'll be putting in some codes later. We can go ahead and make sure that it is by going to product, right clicking it, going to properties, and then going to run. So if you could notice in here, the main class is the product IS. That product IS, so meaning when the application is being run, or if you click on the play button, it is going to be the product IS here class that will be executed. So I hope that we're clear with that. So there you go. So obviously, the first thing that we're going to go ahead and perform is to create, right, a model, right? So for that to be possible, I'll go ahead and click on product IS and do right click and then new, and then of course that would be Java class, right? So I'm going to go ahead and name that as product. Okay, click on finish, and then to make this simple, I'm just going to go ahead and make use of two instance variables or attributes. So I'll have private int, um, the ID, right? And also have the private string name. Okay. All right. So I've decided to make use of those what we call as instance variables or attributes. So I press on the enter key to put in a space. So I'll just right click and then I'll insert a code and I'll create a constructor. So my plan is that for every time that I will go ahead and create, right? For every time that I will go ahead and create a shall we say, um an object of this model that it would actually ask for the ID as well as the name. So I'm going to go ahead and check them. All right. Or just select all and then generate so that the constructor will be created for us. So that will go ahead and again insert code. And then I'll put in or set in the getter. So again, I'll do for both. Click on OK. All right. And then again, I will insert code. And then this time that's going to be the getter. All right. Select all and then generate. So right now, I'm actually done, right? I am done creating the product model. So I'll just save that. And then I'm going to go ahead and create the DAO, right? So that would be new and then Java interface, Java interface. So that would be Java interface. I'll go ahead and name that as product DAO. All right. So we've identified, right, that there are how many? There are how many again? So what? Why am I asking again? I'm not in a class. Anyway, so of course we need to have the one that would allow us to get the list, right? So it's like a read. So that will be public void, all right? I'm not really void, right? Um, that would be an array list of product, read products, right? So that is what we will create. We'll get the list. Next is we'll also um go ahead and actually create the add student, right? So that would be void and then create, not create, create product, all right? And then again, if it's create product, we would need to create or do or use of the object. So that would be product, all right? And then we'll also need the void update product. So for the update product, we actually need the product, right? And then we have public void delete product. For the delete product, we actually just need to have the we need to have the in our previous activity, what we actually did is we made use of the what we call as the um the ISBN, right, or the ID. But this time, what we're gonna go ahead and actually do is to go ahead and just require the index, no? So that will be easier. It will be easier for us to actually make some editing, no? So what's going to happen here, because before one of the limitations is that if we would need to change the ID of the product, then it would result to product not found, right? And that's the reason why we're trying to make modifications here in such a way that we will no longer be able to experience that. Okay. So for the delete product, all right, um, we would actually require, right? We would actually require the index. And so that, yeah, it's okay. Just the index. The index should be fine. And what else? Okay, we also need to have the product or a public product and then get product. All right. And for the get product, of course, we need to have the index as well, right? And then I'll be creating a new one here. Those will be product, get product by ID. So meaning if we will create a method, we have two methods of getting the product. We have a method that would require you to input the index, right? Of the array list, or we can have another method that's focused on just getting the ID, all right? So that it will go ahead and actually return, okay? So this would be, right, int ID, no? So let's try to go ahead and review. So, oh, okay. We may need to actually modify get product index. Mura siya goan ba? Kung get product magula nahitabo is that we need to have the index, no? All right. So ang ako magong plano is that I can delete or make an update by being able to actually just search for the ID. Because if you could notice in our previous code before, what happened is that on the update and delete, we actually have a search code, if you could recall. So meaning there is a redundant code here. So what I'm planning to actually do, right? Or actually, we can just go ahead and delete this because we can just create or insert another code in the implementation. So let's go ahead and try to review here and see if we got them listed down. Now for the update product, I also believe that we would need to have the int index. So meaning there are two variables that we would need to throw in for us to be able to um, make use of the update product. So it's like, what's the new data here? All right. So what's the new data? And then what's the index to which we are changing? Okay, so that it will be easier for us to detect which particular element needs to be changed so that the new data will just be used to replace the existing. So that's our goal in there. So if you could notice, the array list is actually an error. It has a bubble. So just click on the bubble again. Um, Please do not apply this for everything because I have seen some of your classmates just automatically clicking on the first option, such as create, no? And that's the reason why kind of you are trying to make use example, nanata sa main GUI, right? Nag-insert tag JText field. Unya, kind of when you rename the JText field, you change it to Fernan, for example, Fernan TF. And then for some reasons when you're typing it, naibutangan mo for none with a DTF. So what happens is that it will be red. So if you're gonna go ahead and click that, naturally, because that doesn't exist, it would actually create, no? It would suggest for you to create the file. That's the reason why some of your classmates last week, or that was Tuesday, because today's Wednesday or yesterday, what happened is that it created a lot of Java files in here. So dili ta magpataka og click. Now, for example, no maingon ko og kanang unsa man ha, Fernan there. So if you can notice this actually red, right? So if you click that, what would happen is that it's gonna suggest you to create a class. So if I'm gonna go ahead and click that, if you could notice, Fernan is created, right? Fernan becomes a class that has been created out of that mistake. So before you click on create, no? Kaya di ba, based sa itong tutorial, only import naman gid akong gi-allow, add import, no? Add import ra gyud. But for some of you, abi kay my first option, inyong i-select mo na mo create og daghan. Okay? So I hope nga nakatimaan ta ng butanga. And by the way, considering I'll be deleting, for us to be able to delete, of course, we would need to right click that file and then click on delete, no? So we'll go ahead and actually click that, no? Safely delete with usage, search and comments. So tanan, click on refactor. So it will be deleted out. So there. So I hope nga murag naklaro tayo na dapita. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the bubble. Again, tanawon, basahon na to ang suggestion. What I'm only saying that you should click if there's a bubble is if it is add import. Create ganin na siya pag duha-duha no click, okay? So click that. So it'll be imported and you will already avoid seeing the red. So right now there are 5 abstract methods that we have here. We have the public array list product, read products, right? Public void create product. So of course, for us to be able to create a product, we would need to have the product object. So that's the reason why it's product, okay? All right, and then for the update product, we would need to have the index of that array as well as the information of the new product. And then for the delete product, we just need to really have the index. And then for the get product, that's product as the return value and would require the index. So I hope that we're clear with that. Let's go ahead and try to save it to avoid the red marker, right? So considering that that's done, so again, our technique will go ahead and actually copy the code, right? And then we will create a Java class. So we'll name this as product DAO IMPL. All right. And then within here, let's paste. Click on OK. And aside from that, don't forget to type in implements product DAO. So meaning we are trying to implement the abstract methods from the interface to our implementing class. So I hope that we're actually clear with that. So let's just put in some spaces in between for us to have clarity. Okay. All right. So what's going to happen here is first we'll manipulate read products. So we'll have the open and closing. And again, that's going to be an error still. That's because we're supposed to be returning an array list of product. But we have not defined that yet. So we would need to define that here. So how do we define it? So again, that would be array list. And then product. Why product? Because it is a product that we're trying to convert into an array list, right? So let's just name that as product list or products, right? That's up to you. Or yeah, let's just use products so that it'll be a plural of the object. Will be equals to new array list product, right? And then open closing parenthesis. So if you could notice, there's no errors. So it means to see that we're good. So inside here, read products, we'll just go ahead and say return this, that products, and then the semicolon. Okay. For the create product, what we're going to go ahead and do is to actually just, kind of add this product to the current product. So I hope that we're clear that that is our intention. All right. So what we would need to go ahead and do is to just call in this, that, products, that, add, and then product. That's it. So I know that we actually made use of JOption pane, right, previously, but here I'm not gonna use that. So that we will just do the prompts in the confirmation dialogues in our graphical user interface or main GUI. So basically the contents here in our implementation will just be that simple. All right. So for the update product, so what's going to happen? here is I'll delete the semicolon. And again, that would be this. No, we'll call products here. And then we are setting a new value to the element specified by the index, right? So we would need to pull. Let's go ahead and try to pull that record using the index. So you'll be using the get, all right? And then we'll throw in the index, all right? So we were, sorry, is that index? No, set, my bad. So that is actually set. That set, for set, we require an index and actually the element of the product. So index here and obviously the product because it's updating. So we're like replacing the content of that particular element by the new product info, right? And that's the reason why. So if you could notice, we're just really making that very simple. For the delete product, so all we have to do is to make implementation. So that would be this product. Wait, I don't like to type. Okay. And then there is a remove, right? Remove the index because we have the index there. And then the semicolon. And then for the get product, so we'll go ahead and make use of this, that products, and then get, all right? For the get, we just need to have the index, right? So there's no error. However, if you could notice, the error so was that's because we're supposed to be returning. So what we can do is you can just go ahead and say return this product, and that should be it. So I hope that is clear enough. So if you can notice, there's not much of a code here, all right? No, there's not much of a code because we will do a lot of coding in the main GUI. All right. However, if you can notice in here, what we're needing is actually index, but for most of the time, the value that is just available is just the ID of the product, right? So how can we go ahead and make manipulations in here? So this is the reason why I said that I'm gonna go ahead and make another method to go ahead and actually no get the index of a particular ID. All right. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do here is I'll go ahead and make use of public, and then since we are returning, because our goal here is to get the index, and index is integer, so that would be public int and get index, all right? And obviously, what we would need to have is the ID. We would need to have the ID of the product for us to be able to return the index. So, inga na lang na siya. So, just like what we did previously on the update and delete, what we're going to go ahead and do is to actually just try to um kind of um what do you call that? Kind of um try to search. So we're gonna go ahead and say for int I because we'll need to go through each of the what we call that array list element. So for int I is equals to 0, and obviously you already know why it's 0. That's because that's the first element of an array. And then we have I less than this, that products, that size. So we're auto checking the size, and then semicolon I plus plus. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is we'll go ahead and check. So that would be if, all right, this, that products, that get I, all right. So meaning if we're actually doing this, we are expected that we are able to pull up, no, we're able to pull up an object from the array specified by the I, right? So what's going to happen in here is we're gonna go ahead and just use the dot operator. And if you could notice, considering that we are expected to have been able to pull up an object. That's the reason why it's now showing you the option of the get ID and the get name. Now, our goal here is to actually make use of, let's say, ID, right? And compare it with the ID in the array list so that if they wouldn't match, then you can return the index. So that's the reason why we'll go ahead and do it like this. So that would be get ID, and you'll try to compare that with the ID that we passed on. So meaning we are navigating, right? And then we have an ID that's being passed on. We'll navigate from the first record. Let's try to check, is the ID of the first record equal to the ID that's being passed on? So that if it's not, then it's going to go ahead and continue to reiterate on the next element. Is the second element's ID the same as the ID that's being passed along? Right? So that if it is equal, then we can go ahead and stop the search because we're just gonna really do the simple way of searching, no? So what's going to happen here is we'll go ahead and open there so that if it's already equal, then we're gonna go ahead and actually skip out, right? Now we would need to do a break for us to be able to escape, just like how we did, right? With delete. However, we need to have variables, right? So basically what we did is we created a boolean, right? Found, and we set that to false. Okay. So what we're going to go ahead and do is that inside this, we would change the found to true. Okay. And we would need to also create a variable that would be the index, right? So, sir, mag-double-double na nakadahang index. Again, these are parameters. These are parameters. So, meaning it will not affect the one that we have in here. So, I will go ahead and set that to -1. So, meaning there's no value yet for the index, right? Because, right, the value of the index can only be 0 up to the size. If it's negative, meaning nothing was found, right? Because if I'm going to put in 0 there, that means to say that there is already a value or it was already found, right? Or if I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, meaning it's found, it's existing. So there's the reason why I set that to -1, because if it's -1, meaning such index does not exist. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change index here to the value of I, right? That's the value of I. So that, right? What's going to actually happen, let's see. Let's try to analyze if it's found, meaning if it's found, okay, not negative. Okay, actually, I don't think we need to have the boolean here. We also would need to delete that. So, ang mahitabuan ni is that kung wala gyud equal, ang value sa index would remain -1, no? Pero kung na siya nakita nga match, it will be changed to something else, and that's going to be the value of the I. Clear? Okay. So here, after the for, what we're going to go ahead and do now is to just go ahead and return the value of the index. So meaning, if no match was found, the value that will be returned will be -1, right? However, if it would return a value such as 0, 1, 2, meaning the value was found and therefore it will return the index. Claro. So say for example again, if I have 30 objects in my array list and the IDs are 1, 2, 3, no? And then I passed in a value of ID, and then say for example I passed 1 for the ID. So initially the index will be -1, and then I'll go ahead and loop through the contents of my array list, it will go ahead and try to check. The first element's ID is 1, right? And then what I passed on is actually 1. So it would like look as if 1 is equals to 1, right? And we all know that it's true. So since it's true, meaning there's a match found, that's the reason why we changed the value of index to the I, which is the index wherein there is equality that's taking place, and then we exited out. So there's a break so that it will proceed with the line here. So say, for example, the IDs of the elements range from 1 to 3, and then the value of the ID that's being passed on is 4. So what's going to happen here is that no one would match here. And since no one would match here, meaning the index has not changed, it would still be -1. So that in our UI, we can just go ahead and make a condition that if the value of the index that's returned is -1, meaning nothing was found. So it's going to be like that. So if you could notice, we're actually done with the product DAO IMPL. All right. So there. So we're done with the crucial parts, no? The preparation, because we're actually not done yet with the frame. So what's going to happen in here is I'll go ahead and create the frame now. So that would be new and then JFrame form. All right. I'll call that main GUI. All right. And I will go ahead and just try to expand it. All right, and again, we'll make use of code and then go to generate center. And then for the properties, I'll create a title. Let's just name that as product information system. All right. Okay. Okay. Now, what I would actually want to happen is to go ahead and throw this in, right? I'll just make it simple. Okay. Right. And I'll actually throw here a button. Say, for example, I'm going to go ahead and change it to plus, right? Because it's already common. If it's plus, it's adding. So that's just how simple it is. Okay. All right. So by the way, right now, I will be kind of introducing you to a, let's say, another option that you could use. So say, for example, I want to add the menu, right? So just like this, right? So you have file, so there are options. So we could actually go ahead and do the same here. But for the file, it's not gonna work yet easily because we need to make modifications. So that would be file, and then probably I'm not gonna use edit there, but just about, no? All right. So right now, if you can notice, there are no items yet because the menu bar is actually just the bar, and then you would need to add a menu. So the file is the menu. Wait. The file is the menu, about is also the menu. However, if you can notice, file does not have any items. So I'm going to go ahead and add an item. So I'll just put that there. It's a file. If you can notice, make sure to look at the orange button so that it'll go ahead and be added in here. So I'll change that to exit. So meaning I'll put an exit as an option. And then say, for example, the shortcut will be Control X, or I'm having some issues with what do you call this? Mac, no? But in your end, you should be able to easily do it. Let me check because it's not responding to command. Let me just see. Control X. Anyway, so you can just do that. I'm having some issues because I'm supposed to you just select that and then you press on basically the command, no? But it's not actually allowing me. All right. So right now I'm not using a panel because there's just only one here. So I'll just move that on top. Or you know what? I could actually remove this. I'll just remove that so that the table would occupy here. Wait, let me show you something. Okay. So I already have the menu here. So my plan is I'll go ahead and actually use the what we call as a tab pane so that you would see that there's actually you could actually create a lot of panes. No? So let's just expand this to the whole, no? It's okay there. So what's going to happen here is that I can add a panel. It's what I added is tab pane, right? So it's just a pane. The pane can be added with multiple panels. So what I can do is I can drag a panel here. So if you can notice, it's actually showing the orange, which is broken line surrounding the panel. So take a look as to what it can do there. It's adding a tab and then I'll add another tab. So when adding another tab again, make sure that we have selected, no? Kaya may tabuan na if you're just selecting the tab, yeah, you're gonna add a tab, magalisod mo. So you go ahead and select the tab pane, all right? And then drag the tab here to avoid messing it. So it's not working. Let me do it again. Panel. Wait. So you have to be wait. Wait. So again, click that and then add a panel there. If you can notice the orange, just drop it because if you're gonna go ahead and move around, normally it's gonna give you a headache, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'll call this home or dashboard, for example. Pwede na siya dashboard, no? So dashboard, and then probably here, I'll name this as products, right? So that under dashboard, this is where we're gonna go ahead and put in the welcome to whatever, right? Oh, let me just make it simple. I'll add a label, just a simple one. Let me change the horizontal alignment to center. To PIS version 1.0. So ano lang, murag simple, pang simple. Because you can actually make this huge, right? You go to font, and then you can change the font size to that if you want to make it aesthetic. There. So to make it centered, just kind of drag, just like it's already centered. So what's going to happen is that if I'll try to run it, right? So I have the dashboard in, and then I can still click on products, right? So you have a lot of spaces to work on. Okay. So there, considering that I've done with the main GUI, so I'm gonna go ahead and manipulate my product IS so that I can already click the play button. No? So click on product IS, and then from here, I'll create an object of the main GUI. So that is main GUI. Main GUI is equals to new main GUI. All right. So that I could call the object main GUI that show and then put in true. So that I can click this and it would automatically play it. Okay. So there. All right. Okay. Okay. So I'm not gonna touch base on dashboard. Well, touch base on products. So this is where I will put in the table, right? So let me try to fit that in. So if I'll try to run it, so I have dashboard and then I have products. So it's kind of separate there. Okay. All right. So I'll change the table contents. I'll delete two. This is for the product ID or name. The ID should do it. Okay. So editable, no. Okay. And then for the rows, I'll change that to 0. Close. All right. So we're basically kind of ready here. Okay. So what's going to happen in here is I'm gonna go ahead and do the what we call as the initial loading, right? Because if you can notice, if I'll run it, it doesn't have any contents at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and do initial loading. All right, and I'm not gonna manipulate the IMPL. I'll go ahead and do it right here. Okay. So what's going actually the code that we have in here could also be done in the GUI. No, this one here can be done there, to be honest. All right. Pwede na to buhaton didto. So murag ang ato na sa buhaton ato na siya move no kaya para ang ato yung pagtan-aw sa IMPL is just going to be just the implementation of your DAO. Anyway, we'll do that later. So we can just go and copy and paste. So again, for us to be able to make some initialization, we go to source, all right? And then considering that our goal is to be able to load, right? So that would be list products, right? And then we implement that. So that would be public void list products. Okay, all right. So murag kabalo naman siguro ta nga for us to be able to list the products, we would need to call the IMPL, right? So we would need to declare that. So that would be product DAO IMPL product DAO IMPL is equals to new product DAO IMPL. Okay. Open closing parenthesis there. Okay. So right around here, what we're going to go ahead and do is to actually create a model first, right? So that would be default table model is equals to, we kind of force it, we cast it. So default table model. So what we're doing here is we're kind of casting default table model to our table. But right now we didn't have the name of the table yet. So let's try to click that and no, change the variable name. So this would be named as products TBL. Since it's a variable, it should be small letter. Okay. So products TBL. Good. All right. So my suggestion is as to which tab it's being stored in, then make use of the same names. It's products. So in it's actually a list of products in the products tab. So I'll just name that as products TBL for easy um, recall. All right. So that would be products TBL that get model. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and import this, right? So not create, but import. If there's no import, you have an error, there's no import, do not click on create, okay? Make that a habit. So model that set row count, we'll change that to 0. Again, the purpose of this set row count is that whenever it loads, right, it's gonna go ahead and delete, no, the available row and then replace it with something new. The updated list, or say for example, you'd like to add a product, right? So it would delete everything and then replace it with the new contents. Because if you will not do set row count to 0, what's going to happen is, say for example, you have actually already have added, right, one record, right? And then you're gonna go ahead and add a new product again. So what's going to happen is that the first product in there would remain, and then the updated array list, which contains the two, will be added. So on your table, it will show 3 with the first the first product being duplicated, and that's what we're trying to avoid, and that's the reason why we set that to 0, so that every time we call list products, it clears out the table and replace it with whatever is the current content of your array list. So I hope that we have understood that. So right around here, we'll go ahead and make use of the for, right? So that would be, right? So that would be product, colon, and we'll call product DAO IMPL. And then we'll get read products, right? Actually, we could also call products because we actually didn't set this to private, but you can set that to protect the data, right? So we have the opening and closing. So let's take a look. We were able to update that. So dapat wala na to si kung ano, to additional nga product. So wala na. So read products na siya. Kay di ba ganhina duhay option. Kay wala pa man naka-private ganhina si array list. Pero karon ato maging private, that's the reason why wala siya ni gawa sa suggestions. All right. Okay. So what's going to happen here is we will go ahead and call on model, right? And our goal is to actually add row. So we'll just make use of new object, which is that, and then the opening, closing parentheses. So I normally would just go ahead and try to open it, right? Put that on the next, and then so that I can put in some data in here. Kay murag kung taas manggod siya, mura siya labad, no? So ang nahitabuan ni is, I'll try to read the contents of the product and obviously supply it to the columns in here, okay? So that would be product that get ID, comma, product. So akong style is to actually put that on different lines for different columns para klaro kaayo, and then get name. So you don't need to put in a comma in here because that's the end of it. Actually, same ra na siya. Same ra na siya gingana, ha? Same ra na siya gingana nga sumpay bitaw. It's just that for me, it's not readable. That's the reason why I thought we would do it like this. So that makita na ko rin, these are the two fields. Kini si ID kay padong ni siya ni ID nga column. Nya kini si get name kay padong na siya ni name nga column. So di ba? Easy ra ang pag-remember. Okay. So I hope that we're clear with that. But of course, we would want no nga atong a system is kind of dynamic in a way. Ganahan ka, for example, kung wala pa siya isulod, muingon dayon si kanang Java nga there are no contents, there are 0 records yet, no? So what we can go ahead and actually do is we can do a condition, right? So if product, because kini si read product is actually the array, right? If read products dot size is less than 1 or equal to 0, right? Or if you do equal to 0, so we'll go ahead and show an error. So we can do J option that show message, just a message dialog box. All right. So for the root pane, we'll change this to null. And then our message was our message. The list is empty. And then the title, say for example, we'll just change that to system notification. Let's be sassy. Notification. And then we don't need the height actually. We can make use of the icon. So probably that would be J option pane that. So we have a lot of options in here. So considering that it is an error, so probably we can make use of the error message. Right? Yeah, para dili siya labad, the same thing no, pwede gyapon na to siya nga i-enter kana sila para makabantay ka ba nga ay mao din na ang mga gipang input na ko ganina. There. Para easy ano lang. There. So dali ang pag-recall, no? So let me change this. So if I'm gonna go ahead and try to run it, dapat mingon siya list is empty kay wala pa may sulod. So let's see. The list is empty. There. Okay. So the list is empty. All right. So na siya diha dapita. Okay. So we already have the list. Now what I would want to happen is that I should be able to populate the table, no? Meaning doon ako yung marag initial values ba. So I'll go ahead and create public void initialize products. So what I'm going to do is I will just copy that. I will, of course, put that before the list products because kung iawahin na ako siya, tendency is that it might result to an errors or yeah, errors here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is to just actually create, no? If you could notice, you can just call in product DAO impl, right? And make an object, right? So what we can go ahead and do is we can call this that, and actually we can make use of this, no? Because that's our gitawag na to nga practice. So this, and maura na sila. And then create product. So since we will not create products in here, you can just go ahead and actually say new product. And then say, for example, 1, 2, 3. This is shampoo. Right? Pwede na siya yung ana. Oh, yeah, this is 1, 2, 4. Toothpaste. No? Para if I'll try to run it, right, and go to products, you already have the initial list. Dili na mo maglabad-labad ug kanang add pa, no, to be able to manipulate. So if you would want to add more, you can. Say, for example, we'll have that. So that's 125. What is it? Noodles? Okay. See? All right. Okay.